All right, guys, what is going on? This is episode 440 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern Atlanta Falcons football. And today we're going to have a twofer today. We're going to do two topics for each team. And we're going to talk a little bit of Georgia Southern, have a little fun with Georgia Southern, not necessarily talking X's and O's or my version of X's and O's, and talking about just football in general. We're going to talk about a rivalry that I want to have fun with, and hopefully everybody in Eagle Nation will participate, because I think it's just it's good for not just the program, but just for the fan base. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Also, I want to talk about Arthur Smith, because shout out to Justin Felder of Fox 5 News. He got a pretty good soundbite of what Arthur Smith, the head coach of the Falcons, what he was talking about when it comes to Kyle Pitts getting the ball. So I think this is going to be a really informative show for both teams, because I feel like Georgia Southern, the fan base is a little bit uptight sometimes, and it's not a knock on the fan base, because I love them. The guys in the Discord are very informative. They are really passionate about the team as much as I am. But when it comes to Georgia State, we clown that team, or we clown that program in a more of a serious light than it should, because I get it. They're really like, program-wise, they're like the little brother of Georgia Southern. But I want to make this a little more fun, because they've had our number for the past few years. So I want to make it more fun. I want to lighten it up a little bit, and hopefully I don't want to reach across the aisle and extend the olive branch, but I want them to joss back with us, because we be roasting them, but I want to have fun with it. So hopefully we'll talk about that. I spoke too much. And let's just go ahead and get into the formalities of the show. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is the First and Frame Rate Show. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. So if you want to listen to the podcast or at your leisure, it's on all those avenues. Also, just check out all the links in the description. If you find anything that's worth your time, or worth your that is worth your value to support the show. It's all there. So hopefully you guys will find something cool. Let's go ahead and get into this. Southern not state. Yes, it's always going to be Southern not state. I mean, I know the other guys over there at Georgia State going to say state not Southern, but I want this to be a real rivalry. And I know, like, years back, some of the players didn't really look at this as a rivalry, but I've been saying it for the past year or so now. This is a rivalry if you don't want to admit it or not. And we always look at Appalachian State because the history there, and don't get me wrong, it's a respectable rivalry. I want this rivalry with Georgia State to be not so respectable, but I want it to be fun at the same time. I don't want it to be like one of these old nasty rivalries. I don't want it to be like what the 49ers Raiders or anything like that, because those get really messy. But I just want to know that we don't like these guys. We don't like the team up there in Atlanta. Football, Georgia Bulldogs, Georgia Southern. We are the college football in Georgia. Don't get me wrong, nothing against Kennesaw, Valdosta State, Mercer, any of them, but we are those guys. And when Georgia State came into the Sun Belt, we was like, okay, they're in the Sun Belt, that's cool, but we're about to run this state, and we got the right coach. I think we had the right coach for a while, even before Coach Clay Helton. It just, things fell apart, but we have the right coach definitely now. They have a pretty good coach up there. I just don't think they have the talent, but at times they did have the talent. Sometimes we went up there and blew them out. Sometimes they beat us, and I think it could be a really fun rivalry, and I want it to be one, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make it happen, because I like the fact that this could be a really legit in-state rivalry where we can joss back and forth with talk. We can talk about what recruits we take from them, vice versa. We can go up there and flood their stadium with a bunch of Eagle apparel, and we can really take over their stadium. It's just a fun. I think it could be a really fun length of history that we can have with this team. I don't necessarily, flat out hate them, but I don't like them. I don't like the team at all. And I just wish that we can have a lot of fun doing this, because they're trying to come up, they're trying to make a name for themselves, and they punched us in the mouth a couple of times. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and not admit that. But I'm gonna speak, and I'm gonna run my mouth until the cows come home, because I said this before. I was like, you know what? I don't want to pay them any mind. They think they're all that, this, that, and the third. But this is a really good situation for the state. If we can acknowledge these guys that this is the team that we want to beat every year, not only just for bragging rights in the Sun Belt, but also, recruiting status, taking guys from the Atlanta area, bringing them down to Statesboro, showing them what the tradition about, showing them that we are a real rough, tough, blue collar, football program. I don't know what they got going on up there, but I will say this, they ain't got nothing on us when it comes to tradition or just the love of football. I think they're more of a team that's just trying to find a way to bring talent in to win some games. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I respect the fact that the things that they can do when it comes to playing other opponents, but I don't like what they do when they play against us. The game against Tennessee that they won, that was pretty cool for the Sun Belt, and it was pretty cool for the state of Georgia. Those type of things will always be things that you could tip your hat to. They're going toe to toe with other teams, like they almost beat Auburn, and I think they almost beat UNC this past earlier this year. They're going up against teams and actually looking like something. It's pretty neat. During our down years, they took advantage of it. They beat us. They started out with a 3-1 lead. We came back with a 3-3 lead. They won the last two, so they're 5-3 against us. We need to make something happen and make something shake. So October 8th, I'm going to be at that game. There's no doubt about that. I already said I want to try to get to the Ball State game. I'm still working on that, but I definitely want to go. Well, I ain't gonna say definitely want to go. I am going to go to the game at Turner Field. That's already set in stone. That is done, and it's going to be a done deal. So hopefully you guys will be there. But I'm going to be there representing. You already see the shirt. It's Southern, not State. I'm going to try to get some more apparel before then, because I want to represent. Because this rivalry needs to be something special for the state of Georgia. I think the rivalry against Georgia Tech and Georgia is not as prominent as it used to be, because those teams aren't as evenly matched anymore. Since Paul Johnson left Georgia Tech, it just hasn't been the same. And I think the Georgia Southern game can really amplify the state of Georgia and get a lot of people hyped up about, hey, this is a rivalry where both teams are they don't like each other. They can be evenly matched at times, and you can get a really good football game out of. I don't think you can get that anywhere else in the state of Georgia as far as college. Kennesaw State versus Mercer, I don't even think that's a rivalry. Georgia Tech, Georgia, no. Georgia's going to beat them 49-3. You know what I'm saying? And, you just don't have anything else. So Savannah State, Valdosta State, I'm just naming stuff, so I don't even know, but it's just, but Georgia Southern, Georgia State could be a prominent rivalry. Both of them in the Sun Belt East. Both of them going to be vying for position in the division. They're going to be vying for position as far as recruits. They want to get bragging rights for the state. I don't see where we lose here. Even for those guys over there, I don't see where they lose at all. It's a win-win. But I think all rivalries are built off the fan base. And I think with the fan base we have, we could talk about them till we're blue in the face, about them not having attendance. That team is not that good. They're winless right now. They got all this other stuff going on as far as trying to get people in the seats. They beat the last two games against us, but I think we're going to get them back. I think we're going to smack them in the mouth on October 8th. We talk about all of that. And we can continue for them to be rent free in our head. And I know people talk about that like it's an insult, but no, I'm taking it as it is. Yes, y'all gonna be rent free in my head, because every chance I get, I'm gonna talk smack about y'all. Y'all been talking smack for too long, and it's time for y'all to get some of this get back. So every time I see something happen with y'all school, every time I see y'all lose another game, every time I see y'all do something funny, when I look at the attendance on the attendance in the stadium, I'm talking noise. I'm not going to stop. And the thing is, I want some of that get back. Go ahead and talk your smack back, because I'm going to troll y'all until, something happens. As far as us not being playing each other every year. And even then I might still talk smack. Shout out to Ben Moore 24/7 on Twitter. Yeah, he's a good sport. I get it. There's some things he may not want to tweet back on, and sometimes he's the only person on the hill, repping Georgia State. I would like to see more people get in. Also, shout out to Deacon, sports newscaster in Tampa Bay. He's a Georgia State alum. This is one guy I respect. I love his story of becoming a sports news broadcaster. One of the great stories that, in the past 5 years, when you see about kids, graduating from college, going viral on Twitter and making a name for himself. And now he's one of the top, in my opinion, he's one of the top sportscasters in the Southeast, at least. So I love what he does, what he's doing. But me and him go back and forth. Jay Todd on Twitter, we go back and forth. But I just want to see if more people can be more of a sport, because sometimes Ben just runs off after a while. He deletes tweets. He does all this stuff. And I don't know if it's because of, the position that he's in. That's fine. I get it. But I would like to see more fans get into it, because even with the Appalachian State, rivalry, it all boils back down to respect, because both of these teams have won national titles in the FCS. Both teams have heartbreaking losses, against one another. We've blown each other out as far as lopsided victories. There's a lot of things that have been done with these two programs. We just tip our hats at each other after we talk smack, which is okay. But I want something to be a little bit more grimier. I want something to be a little more, give me some, some friendly jabs and insults. I want to see that. I know we got the thing with Appalachian States and goats and stuff like that. That's funny. But I want something that's more in-state. So hopefully I want to see some more fans come out here and talk about it. I think it's pretty cool, and I think we can grow something to be one of the biggest rivalries in the state. Because right now, Georgia Tech and Georgia, that rivalry's trash right now. So we need something in the state to actually try to make something happen as far as a rivalry within the state. So look, that went a little bit longer than I thought it would be. I'm supposed to be getting to Arthur Smith talking about Kyle Pitts. Let's get into that. This episode is gonna go a little bit longer than I want it to be, but that's all good. All right, let's transition to that. Arthur Smith wanted to clarify some things when it comes to Kyle Pitts, and I don't blame him. I'm okay with it, because they need to find a way to get him the ball. He only had 3 touches in the last game, in a winnable game after we came back and almost won the game. I don't know if it's a quarterback issue or it's a play caller issue, but Arthur Smith pretty much, put it out there what it is. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this the sound clip out there. It's about 1 minute and 40 seconds, 30 seconds. It's Justin Fielder of Fox 5 put it out on Twitter. Shout out to him and all the work that they do, because like I said, I'm just a one-man show. I just sit behind the microphone and talk. These guys are going out here and making it happen, and making these coaches and these player sound bites possible. So let me get my headphones on. We're going to hear what Arthur Smith said about getting the ball to Kyle Pitts. So let me get this up and running, and here we go.
Yeah, he's a terrific player.
Oh, before I go, be mindful that the audio is on one side of the speakers. For some reason, that's just how it was put together. It's not my fault.
Yeah, he's a terrific player. And, it's going to change week to week. And certainly, you're going to evaluate. We evaluate everything. So myself, we've made a commitment, certain things we want in the game plan to stop New Orleans. He's been targeted as a primary plenty, but that doesn't necessarily mean the ball is going to go there. People are going to sit there. It's not just double team. So that's where it's hard. I mean, that's what makes football so great. There's a lot of different variables, and so you get these advanced stats, advanced analytics, and I don't want to sound like I'm taking a shot. I'm not taking a shot. But if you're really going to funnel you in there in some of those match shell coverages, right, well, there's somewhere is exposed, and that's why you're seeing success with other people. Excuse me. Sorry. And so, again, it's not just the traditional double teams and man, and they're sitting there like that. And So you get the guys that get the snapshot like, ooh, he's not double. That's not necessarily the case. You have certain coverages and there's progressions and there's reads. Now we can move them around and not continue to push the envelope there, but there's things we maybe asked them to sacrifice early on to make sure that we were clean in the run game and some of the protection stuff. But we have targeted him, and he knows that. But Kyle's a unique person. The ball will find, and he is going to break out here again, and we're going to win because of it. But he's an unbelievable teammate, unbelievable person, and like all of us, we want to win. And it's easy to be happy when you win, when you have 14 catches and everybody's celebrating you, and they've got some Instagram and bragging that you're this pronoun or that. I don't know what that is, but you don't want guys that are happy they have 12 catches for 110 yards and you got smoked by 21 points. We're trying to have our cake and eat it, so we'll continue to do that, and he will. And I got all the faith in the world in him, and I'll do a better job as well.
All right, so you heard that, and you know what? I like what I heard right there. I do. I can't lie. I have faith in Arthur Smith. I know sometimes he comes off pretty smug with some things that he's saying, the way that he responds to some of the media, and I get it because it's very annoying hearing stuff like that from him. But this is the type of coach speak I want to hear at the end of the day. We want to get some understanding of why things aren't happening. And I know they don't owe it to us or whatever, but when you see things on the field that just not working out, to explain it and try to make adjustments, that really sounds refreshing. Because when you hear about a team lose or whatever and they're not winning and what can you do differently? At press conferences, they go out there and say, hey, we could do better. We need to do this and need to do that. Go back to the board, the drawing board, run up some plays, look at other teams' tendencies, try to find opportunities for your players. And I have faith that Arthur Smith's going to do it. You got to understand that Kyle Pitts had over 1,000 yards last year. And I know it could be a slow start. Things could be changing. You have a different quarterback. They're trying to do different things because I think the playbook may be slightly different because you got Mariota over Matt Ryan. Sometimes it could be a situation with Mariota. We saw what he did in the last couple of games, but I don't want to go there. But I feel that Arthur Smith is going to get this right. I think we have the right coach in the right position to get things done because the last coaches that we had, those coaches didn't know how to make adjustments or go out there and get players to go out there and make a play when games are close or we're behind. And this is still kind of rubbing off of what happened last year with the 7-10 season. But the problem is now you have a different quarterback. And like I said, I don't want to talk about the quarterback too much, but it does make a difference. So I feel like, starting with this game in Seattle, which I'm going to talk about that next episode, what we can do against Seattle, and because it looks like Mariota's going to be starting again. I want to talk more in depth about that game because that game is going to be more of a test to see if we could turn things around. And I think going against that team, I think that will be a really good opportunity to do so. So the Friday episode, we're definitely going to dive into that. But at the end of the day, I like what I hear from Coach Smith. I think he has it. I think he has the right mindset from day one. I think he has the right mentality of what it is. You don't want to force the ball to somebody because it could cause a problem. But then again, maybe he is doubled. So you're not going to get him the ball. But then again, you have other people that are open and Mariota's missing them. But, like I said, I don't want to get into that. But I think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to have a situation where Kyle Pitts will get at least 8 targets a game minimum, maybe 7 targets a game minimum, and he can catch 5 or 6 of those a game. I think that's a really good look. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with, you see what's going on with Drake London. It's going to be pick your poison between those two. What are you going to do to try to get those guys together and try to cover them? We seen what Drake London is doing right now. He's on pace to be putting up numbers that Julio did, and he's doing it as a rookie. So we're looking good right now in that aspect. We just need to find ways to close out these games. And I know that sounds crazy because of the Falcons and what they've been doing in the past, but we have opportunities, and I think we'll be able to do it with this team. So shout out to Coach Arthur Smith. Shout out to the Georgia Southern fans. We're going to get this rivalry up and running. And I think Coach Arthur Smith is going to make things happen, and the rest of the team is going to follow suit. I think we're going to be seeing something real neat when it comes to the Seattle game. I think that's one of the easiest opportunities to turn things around. So we'll see how that goes. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hey, man, what do you think about this episode? Man, this is Southern, not State, man. We do not like those guys up there in Atlanta, Turner Field, Paulson North, whatever you want to call it. Whatever they calling it, I'm not calling it that, because to me, that's where the Braves play, and they're playing in a baseball field. I don't care what anybody say. We're going to go up there and score some home runs. We're going to go up there, and we're going to tag those guys out, and we're going to get a couple of grand slams at the same time. Hey, I want us to go up there and beat this team, and I want to start beating this team repeatedly, at least keep it competitive. And I want no guys to be talking as much smack as well. What do you think about Coach Arthur Smith? Let me know. Give me some feedback. I am on Twitter at VFBaller, or you can hit the comment section on YouTube or Rumble. Give me some feedback. Give me a 5-star rating on that Apple podcast. I know I haven't asked for that in a while. Give me a high rating on any of the avenues that give out ratings. Let everybody know what's going on, and I will see you guys on the next one. You guys enjoy your Thursday. I really appreciate you guys. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy, and y'all be blessed. Peace.